Let's take a look at the sample annotated bibliography paper. Come over here to the course menu, click on Unit 2. You'll see the introduction to the unit. Then you'll see the prompt for Portfolio Paper 2, Annotated Bibliography. Scroll down to the bottom of the prompt. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see a link that says Sample Annotated Bibliography. Click on that. Open that up with Microsoft Word or Google Docs. Let me put this in Enable Editing mode. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Of course, when you type any paper, you put the date. The student's name goes here. The title of the class and the course and section number, and the teacher's name. This helps if you ever lose a paper. It really helps get the paper back to you if you put all this information on your paper and the title of the assignment. That's Annotated Bibliography. Now, the citation of the article you read goes at the top of this paper. In a research paper, you put the sources cited. You put these citations at the end of the paper. For the annotated bibliography, you put it at the top of the page. You have the author's name, last name, comma, first, period, the title of the article in quotation marks, the title of the periodical in italics. Now, a periodical can be a newspaper, it can be a magazine, it can be a journal, and most of your articles you found online. So there's CNN.com, that would be the title of the periodical, or it may be a magazine or newspaper that's also published online, like Sports Illustrated or Cosmopolitan. They have online versions of the newspaper, their magazine. So you put that in italics. The volume and issue number, that's only really going to apply to a printed magazine or newspaper. If it was online, you would simply put the date. If it's a newspaper, you would put the date. Page numbers, online articles don't really have page numbers, but if you got this in a print magazine or print journal, you'd put the page numbers, where you accessed it, the date that you accessed it, and for these citations, add the topic that you think this article falls under. Now, below the citation will be a summary of all the information about the article. Now, this is actually the last paragraph you will write. First, you need to find this information before you can summarize it. Now, in a lot of classes you take after this, when the teacher asks for an annotated bibliography, this summary paragraph is really what most of them are looking for. But it's very difficult to summarize this information until you write it out in full. So for this annotated bibliography, we're going to write a complete paragraph about the author and all the information we found out about their job, their education, and our conclusion about whether or not they are an expert on this topic. This is the topic sentence of the paragraph. It can come first, it can come last, that's up to you. And then all the information you found out about that person is the support you're using to make that claim. Are they or are they not an expert on the topic? Now, this not only helps us write a better summary paragraph, but it's also going to be a paragraph we can use later on when we are writing our critical response and our lesson learned essays. So, a couple of different reasons for writing these paragraphs. The next paragraph, all the information we found out about the publisher, and a conclusion about whether or not we think that publisher is biased on this topic. Then there is a summary of the claim that is used and the type of argument, the type of reasoning, inductive style of reasoning or deductive style of reasoning, and some detailed discussion of exactly how the author supported their claim. All of this goes in the claim and support paragraph. This particular author did give a definition of a key concept in their article, so I added that to this annotated bibliography. If your author did not define a key concept, then you won't have anything to put here. Hopefully they did, because that's something you can argue about in your critical response and lesson learned essays. I have included a quote, and in the annotated bibliography, I go ahead and include the in-text citation for that quote. That way, later on, when I'm typing my paper about this article, I can just copy and paste this entire quote, and the in-text citation is already there. and you'll do this on your annotated bibs as well. It is required. I've picked out 3 sentences I thought were useful quotes. Now, you can pick out 3 random sentences if you like, and I will show you later on how to use those in a paper, even if you can't think of any other way of using quotes, or if you just can't pick out what you think is a useful quote. I'll show you some techniques for using these quotes anyway. So pick 3 that you think look interesting from the article, put them here, put them in quotation marks just like you would in your paper. And again, that's so, and when you type your paper and you've got the in-text citation for each one of these quotes. This was a print journal, so I have page numbers. If it's something you got from the web, you would instead say it was paragraph 36. So 3 quotes in quotation marks with the in-text citations. And then finally, I picked 3 vocabulary words that I thought were interesting, and I looked up their dictionary definitions at different places. And again, I included the in-text citations for where I found those definitions. That way, later on, if I'm typing a paper and I think the definition of this word is useful for my paper, I not only have the definition in quotes, but I've got the in-text citation for where I found the definition. So this is how you'll type up your annotated bibliography papers using the information that you wrote down on the annotated bibliography form, and that we then turn into the worksheets on Blackboard, and then we type it up into this nice, beautiful Microsoft Word document, and you can download this onto your computer and use it as a template to get the formatting right for your annotated bibliography paper.